Warning: the following broadcast features thoughts, ideas, and opinions you might find offensive. If you're easily angered, insulted, hurt, provoked, outraged, or annoyed, the following may offend you. The views expressed in this show are solely those of the individuals providing them and do not reflect the opinions of YouTube or Google. So please, don't flag this video. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello. Hi. Welcome.
Yo.
Hi guys. I saw everyone has little mod badges when I was looking on the YouTube thing. I didn't know that. I haven't looked at that for a while.
Oh wow, yeah, those are different.
They're trying to bring it over to Twitch. I know what you're doing, YouTube. Hi guys.
The
Welcome.
wrench. Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no wrench. That was a wrench.
It was a wrench, yeah.
How soon we forget. Welcome, guys. If you haven't been to Does This Offend You before, welcome. It is just a really fun title. We're not normally offended by the films, but we do pick two movies and we talk about all of the taboo, the nitty-gritty that we kind of gloss over in reviews. Even if they're spoiler reviews, sometimes it's fun to focus on the things that could be deemed controversial or taboo. So that's the whole point of it. I saw someone asking why we picked these two films, and I was like, girl, dolls. Dolls. So we have The Boy from 2016, and we have Incident in a Ghostland from 2018. Do you know what's so funny? I actually thought this film was in French when I went to watch it. I forgot it wasn't even in English because it's the French director.
Yeah, that makes sense though. The director, you would think, yeah.
Yeah. So
There's
funny.
a little bit of French, right? Isn't some?
The mum speaks.
French?
Yeah, some French. So I'm here with Vicky. All of her stuff is down below, I believe. I put it in there. I hope it's still there. For Nightmare Maven, that's her channel. And she does a lot of reviews, but also a lot of your channel is to do with books and the breakdown of that. So a lot of people who ask me about books, Vicky knows I read trash. Vicky reads the good horror stuff, okay? Honestly, guys, I try and keep up. It's really good. You have Creepy Club, where it's like a book club and you can read along, and then they do live streams. It's so fun, interactive. Please go check out her stuff. Follow her everywhere down below.
My day job.
Yeah, well, you're the expert. And what else we got to say? Spoilers. Obviously, I put it in the title this time as well.
Yeah, we really should do that more, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, I thought it might be more interactive if people came for a live spoiler chat, because everyone's always telling me that I should do more spoiler chats. So here we are. We have two films today. I already said which films, but which one do you guys want to start with? Do you have a preference, or should we put a little? I guess I can do a poll now, can't I?
Oh yeah.
Let's do that, guys. Oh my god! Thank you so much, Civic.
And thank you, DC. DC got one in.
Oh shit! Sorry, I totally missed that. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Civic.
You were doing the intro. Yeah. You're good.
Thank you, Civic. Oh, thank you so much, DC.
Thank you, DC.
Shout out. Hope you're doing well, buddy. And oh my god, thank you, readers. Always in the shadows. Yay! I don't get to talk to you much anymore. I'm offended by no one else's offense to these two. Hey, wait. We haven't seen what soapboxes we're getting on yet. Don't jump ahead. We don't know if we're offended or not yet.
I might be offended by something.
Melvin, what the fuck? Why are you calling me out like that? What does that got to do with anything? Okay, I am going to start a poll for which film we should talk about first.
I've been getting calls at work asking if we sell Labubu's, and I'm
really?
No, thank God.
Do you do any blind boxes? Anything like that?
Some Barnes and Nobles do. We don't have a trend shop, so we don't really get any. But I was like, thank God we don't, because it's bad enough with the Pokemon cards and stuff, the collectors and stuff. I can't handle it.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, not to get all Twitch, I talk about this stuff a lot on Twitch, but we were I was obsessed with Labubu's a year ago, and then the way it's swept and how it's changed is I have one Labubu and a Lafufu, and I'm done. That's all I need.
That's all you need.
I can't believe we're talking about a little bit. How did this happen? I blame you. I blame you, chat. Oh no, ChatGPT's here.
Oh, whoa. What the hell?
Hey, what?
The ops are here.
Oh my gosh.
Who made their
What
username
is?
ChatGPT? They're sweating.
I
right
know.
now. That's
And
so
it's the logo
funny.
and everything. They might come for you. You don't know. Unless it's
Or-
like a weird.
Or offer you a lot of money for that back, which is really smart.
If you change a URL, that would probably work. That would
Mm.
probably be working. Oh. I can see one of the messages that was deleted. Oh wow, they're going for it. Thank you, moms.
Aw.
I
Wow,
love
who'd have thought ChatGPT would turn out?
Oh, it's not them. Someone
Oh,
else.
is that okay? I missed it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
fine.
chat.
No, it's all right. I'll tell you about it later. It's actually not that bad. Thank
Oh,
you,
okay.
whoever did that. I can't see, but thank you. Okay, do not get Emma started, please. Exactly, Tess. Exactly. How's the poll going? Okay, incident. You guys want us to start on the
On the tough shit.
on the tough one? Okay, so when we decided what we were going to do this month, we were like, oh my god, yeah, these two films. I find like The Boy kind of is like a silly fun movie, so I was like, yeah. And I haven't seen Incident in a Ghostland in years.
Yeah.
And rewatching it, I was like, what? It went from being, oh my god, Queen.
Yeah.
Queen, she won't stop. Maybe block them. Wait, I'm gonna put them in a timeout. You need to calm down.
Whoa.
They really came for me.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. I don't want to give them any more airtime. Yeah, we were really excited because obviously sometimes we push it to the limit of what we are gonna watching films that we don't particularly enjoy just to talk about the controversial parts. Although we haven't in a little while, but we thought we'd go easy on ourselves this month and then it completely flipped on us, I think. I don't know for you, but for me, it was very intense and oh my god, it just kept going.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy.
Hey, Cindy. How are you going? I haven't seen your name here before, so hello, welcome. Lola. Oh my god, guys, what the heck? Thank you so much. This is crazy. Thank you. This is so overwhelming. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just got finished watching Incident in Ghostland in prep for tonight and really liked it. Okay, well, this should be interesting for us, Caleb. We're always open to, obviously open conversation. So very excited to see the feedback.
For sure.
Do you want to start, Vicky?
Sure. All right, Incident in Ghostland. This is gonna be like a short summary because a lot happens in this movie. Like I feel like I forgot from when I watched it previously, but there's
100%.
so much happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna get super pared down.
It does and then it doesn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Right? Yeah, it's very complicated. We'll explain, but it's just gonna be pared down summary because otherwise we'll be here all night with me giving you everything that happens. So like Emma said, came out in 2018, Incident in a Ghostland, or sometimes it's just called Ghostland. I've seen it both ways.
On one of the posters, yeah.
Yeah. And it's directed by Pascal Logier. I hope that's how you say that.
Sounds good. The last name is good.
Yeah. Director of Martyrs, if you want to.
If anyone's ever heard of that one.
Yeah, if you want to set up as to like what this movie might entail a little bit. So the movie, we're following sisters Beth and Vera, who are moving to their late aunt's house with their mother. On their first night there, they are attacked by two people who have been invading homes and torturing the young girls in the area. After seeing her mother killed, Beth falls into a hallucination of her life after this incident, where she goes on to be a successful horror author. Vera pulls her back into reality, where they are still trapped in the house and are being tortured by the killers. And then they run away, and then she hallucinates again a little bit more, and then they go back, and it's a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of torture.
A lot of torture.
Put it straight out there. Yeah. Thank you so much, Key. Why did I say K? Sorry, my bad.
That makes me think of pop. I don't know if that's the intention of your name, but
to be what?
K-pop.
Oh, is that a K-pop band?
K-pop idol.
Oh, Incident at Ghostland is so good. I loved it. I'm so excited you guys are talking about it. Seems to fly under the radar.
I feel like it does a little
Yeah.
bit too.
Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of people. I actually went back and watched my first review from when I first saw it because I wanted to see what I had to say. And it was funny because as I was watching it, I was looking up different things that happen in the, behind the scenes and stuff. And we're going to get into it, but there was an incident. There was an incident in Incident. And I totally forgot. And I had one of those moments where I was like, oh my God, this happened on set. And then I watched my video and I was talking about it. I'm like, she knew. How did I not know? 6 years ago I knew. How do I not know now?
You gotta give yourself some grace. We've been doing this a long time and we watched a lot of movies. Sometimes you just don't remember.
I love when I can be shocked twice, Okay. I mean, where do you want to start? I guess, should we just get straight into it? I guess trigger warning or content warning for assault. I don't even know where to start. It's a very gruesome film, guys. A very gruesome film.
It is a really gruesome film.
Yeah. So I feel like this film does suffer. Unfortunately, watching it back, I don't think I felt this at the time when I first saw it because, I mean, I don't want to say I was a little bit more like edgy, I mean, I've always loved disturbing films, but I feel like I can see it from a different lens now watching it back because as we said, after the setup and you realize that she's gone within herself to kind of escape what's happening to her, it is a lot of the same torture and it's just a like crazy brutality over and over and over to these women. And I feel like it does suffer the same fate that a lot of people criticize, torture porn films for, because it is just endless. And it's also more literal as a objectification because they're literally turned into objects, into dolls. So you can't get more like literal, as for these two women. It's absolutely crazy. But I feel like, years after that, the twist felt so repetitive and disturbing due to the fact that they were turned into literally dolls. And if they move, the whole idea is if they move when this villain comes up to whatever, I don't understand how the structure works throughout their day. I don't really want to understand, but she tells her not to move because if it moves, it makes it worse. And so like the idea of them being human at all is kind of taken out completely. So it honestly cannot get much more, into the, it's actually quite wild. It's, so I felt like on watching it back, the rewatchability was kind of ruined because as soon as you get that twist, there isn't much more to it except for the objectification of these women over and over and over. And we'll get into the villains because you don't get much juicy backstory or any information on what's happening other than you're shown, hey, the twist of this film is that she went into her head and made up this other land because she's an author and she has this imagination. And that also, I don't really even think I put it in here, but the whole idea about the sisters hating on each other, I thought was so fucking intense in this film because it's a very, I guess that's the moral dilemma of it, is that her sister doesn't know whether to bring her. Her sister wants to I'm saying this all very washy way in a fictional sense, wants to bring her out to like selfishly like have her in her right mind with her so she doesn't have to go through this alone. But is it better for her to let her sister go? But before that, earlier in the film, before the attack happened and the kidnapping happened, they have this whole thing against each other and she thinks her sister is loved more by the mother. And it's just like, I don't know, I just feel like the whole structure of it is very paper thin once that reveal happens. And so I just felt like I was going through the motions watching it until the end. I just didn't feel like anything was happening, especially with the police scene. When that happened, I'm like, man, there is just like, there's no hope in this film. And it's just nonstop back and forth. I don't know how you felt about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think, the first time watching it, that surprise factor of that happening where you're like, oh, fuck, like, okay, so that's something different. That's something we don't really like see before in movies. We were talking about this like right before, like I rated this like quite high. When
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to say that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone changes. You can change your mind on shit.
Definitely.
I feel like I'm very open about this also, and like being women on YouTube. Like sometimes I like in my earlier YouTube days, I felt like I had to review things a certain way so as not to get hate. And now I don't give a fuck anymore because I've been doing this too long. So I'm very open about this. So I don't know. I don't know what headspace I was in when I rated it.
Oh yeah, and things change because how many years ago? It was like 6 years.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's totally fine. But you're 1,000% correct. Once you know what's happening, that's like really all it has going for it. It's just torture. And then obviously we're watching it through a certain lens when we sit down and we're preparing for, does this offend you anyway? But
that's
and I definitely don't think I paid attention to or clocked the director when I first watched this also, but like the bleakness makes sense, like knowing who this is made by and written by. So I'm like, okay, so this is just going to be depressing as fuck. Like,
yeah. And sorry, Kate, I will get to your thing, but I guess the thing about this one is watching it for the first time, I'm always down for some brutality. And then watching it back now, exactly what you're saying about watching it through the lens of trying to pull things apart and talk about the taboo subjects and how representation. And I also think it says a lot, and this is going to be, it says a lot about the director, because don't get me wrong, Martyrs is top 5 for me out of horror movies of all time, but it says a lot about the repetitive nature of what we're touching on in terms of trauma for women, and especially childhood. So it's like, I don't know, it would have been so good to have something that was completely different. But again, we're 2 women. It's another film about 2 women who are going through this trauma that alters their brain, basically. So I don't know what the focus is there. I need to know more background. Maybe I don't need to know more background on the director. Thank you so much, Key. I think a second, we'll definitely talk about the villains. I do think it's just opportunist like behavior with them finding them, because they go past them on the highway or on the road and they see them, and then she gives them the finger, and then later when they capture them, there's a shot where she's also flipping her off. So I think it's like, we got you, we were following you kind of thing. And also she could be like scouting out other cars that have younger girls in it. That was just such a good target for them, seeing there was just the single parent and the 2 younger girls, unfortunately, which is awful to say, but it's true. Here's to giving 0 Fs. 0 Fs. Yeah.
0 Fs. Yeah. Amen.
I was like, I thought you said 0 is the first, and I was like, yeah, that's good too. Although I don't think you can do that on Letterboxd, but that's good too. But 0 Fs is also good. I love the that you didn't do the actual full word. You can say fuck, it's fine.
Well, yeah, but does the YouTube chat allow you to say that?
I don't know. I have to censor my cat's name on Twitch because you can't say the word sissy.
Oh, like it thinks you're calling somebody a sissy, or okay.
Yes. I don't know. It just won't say. It won't let me write that. So who knows? I'm sure it'll be fine. So there you go, everyone. Oh, great, guys. We won't get flagged now.
Everybody's like, fucks, 0 fucks.
That's so funny. Yeah, exactly. You have to call us Moochie. Okay. I guess going into that, I guess we've got to talk about the innocence and childlike tropes in terms of the dolls. And I think this is really interesting because last Does This Offend You? Was it last Does This Offend You, or Does This Offend You before? We talked about exorcism and
oh, okay. Yeah, before last, I think.
Yeah, it must have been because it was on my channel. We talked about The Believer. Sorry, we talked about Believer. And The Exorcist Believer, and what was the other one? Oh, Late Night with the Devil, and the idea of girls being possessed and how they always have to say something outlandish or sexual in nature, and that's like the whole loss of innocence for women. I feel like that is echoed especially in this film. because they're turned into dolls, and they have to push it that extra step. Not only are they torturing them, yeah, it's just horrendous, but then also they hint at a lot of like sexual abuse. The guy, when he first gets them, he sniffs them in certain places. He checks under the dolls' dresses. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like clearly like meant to be, I think, like a fixation. Like, when you see stuff like Criminal Minds or something, like serial killers, like they have a method or they have a type or something, and this is a clear like method, because is it supposed to be that they bring all those other dolls into the house also, or are they meant to just
I think
be
so.
there? Okay.
No, they must.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like these like set up in this like room entirely full of
Yeah.
dolls. Which is just, I mean, dolls in the use of anything is supposed to be, obviously it's like representing like a childlike innocence, and then to see the dolls and the girls as the dolls like assaulted in that way, it's just like feels like the just like repeated assault on like feminine bodies all the time in society, just in general.
If you want to like push it a step forward, even looking at the background of this, it's like the damaging of the perfect doll, which is kind of it's so fucked up. But even that, like even throughout the film, when they put makeup on them and things like that, it's never like perfect. It's always meant to look that kind of scariness in nature. So it's a weird blend, because I guess originally dolls in horror movies were used to kind of, it's one of those childhood fears, like there's something under the bed, or the doll's evil in your room. I used to have a porcelain doll called Rachel, and I got so scared once that like my sister like threw it in a cupboard and was like, she's not real, like I've locked her in there. Or when like people talk to you like you're whatever you're scared of when you're a kid, and I'm like, this is making it worse, because now I think you're actually having a conversation with her. Now you're actually having a conversation with her. I told her to give me the knife. What do you mean by that? So I think that, obviously that's meant to feed into the idea of dolls. And a lot of people are scared of dolls even now. Like I saw so many people say that they don't want to watch these movies because they're scared of dolls. It's just one of those childhood fears. So it's interesting that they have to take that a step forward or a step further, which they do in The Boy. They keep it to the doll, but here they take it a step further, and they also use that cliched kind of trope and then twist it into like sexualize it, which is
which it just makes you think of like the psychological or thing, like a psychiatrist or something, where they're like, show me where you know you were touched, like using the doll and stuff like that, and it just makes it gross. And it's just such like a visceral part too in the movie when Beth is being painted up, and like half of her face is like just like beaten to shit, and then she's still like getting like makeup painted on and lashes like put on and things like that. It's just goddamn.
No, it's a lot. All right, anyway, enough of that talk. You want to definitely jump into some of your stuff.
Sure. Yeah, we can get into the killers before I get in, because the other thing actually really doesn't have anything to do with anything, the Lovecraft stuff. But so like focusing on this this movie, like I noticed, like just going through reviews, just like doing like scrolls on IMDb and Letterboxd and stuff like that, there were a lot of criticisms on the villains, in particular the bad guys. So it's like watching it, I was focusing a little more on them than maybe I did previously. I don't remember. Particularly like the older person. I assume they're the older of the two. In the film, they're just credited as Candy Truck Woman. And then the other is just credited as Fat Man, which is awesome. But it's revealed like pretty early on that this person has like a deeper voice. Like we just see like, longer hair in a car. We see like you know, a kind of feminine figure in this person and a man, but like it's kind of revealed early on that this person has a deeper voice, which is not really indicative of much on its own. But it's paired later on with this like definite like just fully shock value reveal at the end, when the cop shoots them. Like there's this like whole moment with like the wig falling off, and then we see that, oh my god, it was a man, or something like it, like that's what the point of the movie, like that part felt like, where you're supposed to be like, oh my gosh, like holy shit. And I feel like a problem definitely lies in like not identifying this person. So like someone mentioned earlier, like, you know, there's, you know, having a backstory, you know, spin off to these characters, I think maybe could have helped. I don't know, because you don't know, like, are
it could be
they
worse.
just you don't, it could be way worse.
We don't know.
Because we don't know if this person's just intentionally, like, maybe they're cross-dressing to like hide their identity. Like if somebody sees them out in the open, they'll be like, oh, it was a woman and it's not really, or, you know, or are they trans? We don't know. Like we don't know what their identity is meant to be. And then like watching this now amidst, you know, at least here in the States, just incredible violence towards trans people from the government and from other places, hits totally differently, where you're watching it and you're like, okay, so did we just like come up with like what's the scariest thing like in society, like what's like what would freak people out the most? And it feels like that's what he made the villains. Same with the fat man from the credits.
I think that's the issue, is that they, sorry, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you. Thank you. That was very lovely. Sorry, I'm going to keep it there for a second. I think that it's because it's doubling down, because it's two different people that they both don't give backstory, and they both make, you know, it makes it seem like that because of what they do with the fat man. And I know you've got in your notes as well that he has like a disfigurement, and as someone was calling him, Sniffy Shrek. So like things like that, like they're really not doing any favors, and they don't do any backstory at all, even a little bit, or an intriguing line as to who they are. So they are just painting them as villains, and how can we make them really scary? And that's exactly what they're doing with the doll. So you can even say you triple down, because it's like they're trying to make something that's awful happening to these women already into like this creepy, aesthetically creepy thing, and that they think that the viewers will take. And I mean, that's all we can take from it, because there is no context.
Right. So, exactly. Yeah. So picking up on stuff like that, like the disfigurement, I've seen a lot of criticisms that like this could be seen as like ableist also, because this character is also seems like nonverbal. So I'm not going to diagnose anything, because we truly just, there's nothing to go off of really. But it seems like what are like the extreme groups of society that we can be like, yeah, that's scary because we don't understand it, or something like fringe. And that just brings up discussions which we've had before in this show of like what is like film's responsibility, and especially the horror genre, because we got to call it out, because that's, you know, it's always reflecting societal fears and anxieties. And there's definitely a level to it of like, there's maybe a societal not understanding of these groups of people, and that makes them scary. But then it's a really fine line, because it's like, but was this filmmaker intending to do that? Probably no. Or they just trying to come up with like the scariest person that they could think of, and it was playing off of stereotypes that, when it's reinforced with film like this, could result in even more like real life violence.
I think that we have definitely taken a turn, especially in the last 10 years, with villains, and talking about who is the true villain, and that representing a whole other thing now. So I do think that there is some responsibility there, but also it's just like it lacks so much context that it just ruins the film anyway, regardless if the villains were just like two random men or whatever. They still don't give us enough answers to justify like the ongoing, you know, like it's just like nonstop brutal brutal scenes for these women. So I feel like that just piles on top, where it's even posing more questions as to, was there things cut from this movie? Like, was there other things that aren't seen? Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. It's weird. What's happening?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just letting it go. I can't today. It's just wild.
Okay.
Okay, do we have anything else? Oh, do you want to get your Lovecraft? You're going to love this one. If you didn't like that one, you're going to love this one.
All right. I've definitely talked about this before, because I know we've done like Color Out of Space and stuff like that, where and that, at least, like, there was more, it felt like more of a reason to rant about this, because like those movies were like deliberately based off of Lovecraftian stuff. So H.P. Lovecraft plays an interesting part in this movie, even though like the story isn't, I wouldn't like label this as like cosmic horror or anything, you know, really related to what we think of when we think of like Lovecraft's stories. But Beth in the movie is a huge fan of H.P. Lovecraft. That's, you know, that's who she emulates. That's who makes her want to be a writer. And he's definitely influenced a lot of real life writers. Just every time I see it, he just makes me so fucking mad. Like, if he has no haters, I'm dead. Because it like, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the movie at all, ever, because it's not based on his work or anything that I know of, anyway.
That's, I think that they just pick him because he's a well-known,
I think so,
author, and they just wanted her to be. It makes no sense when it came up at the start and they show him a photo of him. I was like, that's because you see him later. I was like, that's the only reason.
You got to give context to his fucking long face looking ass.
Jesus,
sorry. I wouldn't normally do that to anybody else, but this man is just so incredibly like racist and xenophobic and anti-Semitic. It's truly disgusting. There is a quiz online that you can take, and it's Hitler or H.P. Lovecraft, and it gives you a whole bunch of these like god awful quotes, like the worst shit you've ever heard, and you have to guess whether Hitler said it or Lovecraft said it. And I feel like that tells you everything you need to know about the guy. Like, if you have a hard time deciphering whether he said it or you know, Adolf Hitler did, that's a problem.
Sorry, on what Carly's saying, that's why that show, is it called Them? That show is so good. The Lovecraft show. Is it called Them?
Maybe.
Yeah. Isn't that's based on Lovecraft? Them? It's about a black family, and it's like, it's cool because they take it and then they like twist it all.
There's a lot of
Lovecraft Country. Sorry, I'm totally wrong.
Lovecraft Country. There's a lot of good work. Like, you're 1000% right, Carly. Like, there's a lot of really good work that has come out of a really shitty dude. I would also recommend to anybody, because I'm the book person, Lovecraft Country is also a book, by the way.
It's in the name. I should have known that.
But anything by Victor Laval, especially The Ballad of Black Tom, amazing like takedown of one of Lovecraft's like most racist like stories, but written by a black author, and it's incredible.
Sick.
But yeah, that's just my little like soapbox, because I hate the guy. Like, every time I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, it was an intro. I just feel like that's why, I guess it, you know, we keep talking about like, I keep saying that, like, doubling down, but again, just something that makes no sense to the theme or anything to do with that they put Lovecraft in there. And I actually thought that Lovecraft being in there, when I was rewatching it so many years later, because I haven't seen it in so long, that it was going to be like dreamy, or like something was going to happen. And then nothing happens that has anything to do with that. So there is no, even in her world, because if you think about her world, it would have been so smart if they put something in there that was showing that her world wasn't real because of that, instead of him just being at the party. If they put something in there that was like cosmic, or, you know what I mean, that like kind of mirrored his work, it would have been such a good glimpse into it. But also it's so blatant this film anyway, like the clues. And there's like a scene where she's talking to her mum, and her mum's like, it's so good that you just make up these stories in your brain, and you're not meant to know the twist yet.
Right.
So it's so obvious, but it would have been so good if they had flipped it in a cool way, because they introduced, it seemed like for no reason, absolutely no reason.
And I think it's just because his name is so synonymous now with cosmic horror that we just expect it to be that way. But I think you're right. I think they truly just chose him because he is a well-known, like, a well-known name, like a household
and past
name
as well, because I feel like if it was anyone otherwise it'd be like Stephen King, but obviously they can't really get him in there anyway. They couldn't put him in the dream kind of thing. So
exactly,
I guess maybe because he does look very distinctive, but they did show a picture of him at the start. I actually wouldn't have known that was him. I had no idea. I have no idea what he looks like. So, none the wise to that. Thank you so much. Speaking of dolls, I think I saw, did you leave a comment about this? I swear I've seen this before. Morgan Killer Dolls.
Morgan Killer Dolls. Interesting.
Not to be confused with Megan. Not to be confused. Oh my god. Oh, with all that's a heavy one, guys. That was a heavy one to start. If this is your first time here, guys, I swear they're not all like this. This was, sometimes they are though. But it's pretty heavy. Did you get, oh wait, I guess we got to do the incident. I haven't even done that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the big thing.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the actual offensives. All the concrete stuff, other than how we feel about the film.
For sure.
So Taylor Hickson, who plays I believe the young sister.
Young Vera, yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Justice.
Yes.
I don't know if she won this, by the way. So
I don't know.
They didn't say anything else. I think it may have been settled out of court or something.
Yeah.
So she sued the production after suffering a facial injury during, quote, an emotionally charged scene. The director instructed her to hit a glass door harder with her fist. And according to the lawsuit, the director constantly told her to pound harder. I think each scene, like each take, he wanted her to like go more intense with it. And she asked if it was safe. And the producer and the director both replied, it's fine, it's reinforced. And the glass shattered and she was thrown through it, and she had 70 stitches. She has like a scar right here on her face from it. And she said it caused mass amounts of insecurity, and she was conflicted, confused, hurt, angry, and sad because it was her last day on set and no precautions were taken. And her permanent scarring, she said, caused her to lose work. So pretty wild stuff. And she's just, it's not even like she is seen as like the main, not that it makes a difference, but like that's so crazy for doing that kind of scene and not having a stunt double, fake glass. What the fuck? Why would they?
Just like breakaway glass. Like
that's so crazy to not have. It's obviously, I don't know. That's weird to me. But yeah, so that's pretty crazy. Okay. Oh, Civic's got some.
Oh, thank you, Civic.
If that's sounds like she wasn't awarded damages, but they were fined. Oh, I hate that, because that's that's money that she's obviously, as an actress too, like that's
right.
Yeah, it's not great. Unfortunately, we live in a world where that is not great.
Yeah. So
pretty wild stuff. Yeah, not a good look.
No, it's just awful. And then especially for a movie about like violence against women, it's like, here, we're gonna damage your face and then
go harder. Yeah, that's
Sucks.
awful. I guess the other thing I wanted to post as well to the comments to you guys in the chat. Do you guys think that she actually escaped? What the ending is pretty, I mean, it is cut and dry, I will say that, but because she is an unreliable narrator,
for sure.
Did she escape? They end with her in the ambulance, and it's just such a weird end to the film. It's not even like they just get help and that's the end. They like put her into, I don't know, I feel like it's a weird shot. I don't know. What do you think?
I think, the times I've watched this movie, I think I truly just take it at face value. So as I watch it, I'm like, yeah, she makes it out. Like, I feel like they tried to make it pretty clear when she's imagining something because it goes like into the future. It's like her as an adult. So they set that up twice. So I'm like, okay, like, sure. I feel like, I'm just gonna take it at face value that she makes it out. But they're also setting up that like in her, when she's like deep in her mind and she's like lost in there, it's her as an adult, her as a super successful horror author. They set up earlier on, like with her sister saying she heard her like, or no, she saw her like writing in a journal that she was like pretending it was like an interview with like a literary magazine.
Yeah.
So
Shit,
she already kind of
that.
hallucinates that. So like when she gets into the ambulance and then the guy starts asking about her, like it feels like, oh, it could be connected, because I don't want to say she's like conceited or anything. I don't think that's what it is, but it's like, you know what I mean? But she's like
in survival mode.
Yeah, she's imagining this future for herself where everybody recognizes her for her talent. So then she has this conversation with this guy where he's interested in her, about her, talking about her, and like, oh yeah, no, I'm a writer. And so I could definitely see like, oh
yeah. But was he just trying to keep her conscious? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I can't tell the difference. I saw Civic's comment. This, like, I like this idea. It would have been way, like, so much smarter to have it so that she escaped and that was actually but obviously that can't be true because we see her when she snaps out of it. She sees like the photo of what her like son is the jester in that photo. The painting and all of the objects around her is what is forming that world. But that would have been so clever if they had ended it and then you realize that was actually the her later talking about it. I don't know. That would have been cool, but I think that's way too clever for it. Don't give it too much credit now. Oh my gosh. I guess we got to ask the question. Wait, did you have anything else?
Oh no, I hit all my points.
Okay, good. I feel like we were back and forth a bit there. So, the ticker's pretty weightless. Have I got a bigger one? Not the cap.
Doesn't offend you.
I'm gonna ask you guys too. Don't worry, guys. I'm getting the balls. Oh my gosh. Vicky, did this one offend you?
I mean, no. I'd say it's annoying. I don't know if I'm necessarily offended, but I'm annoyed.
Yeah, it was a kind of a sad one.
Yeah.
To rewatch, to be honest. I thought, oh yeah, this is gonna be exciting. I don't remember anything to do with this, and I love when I know there's a twist in a film and I can kind of not remember it, but as soon as it started, I knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
It was so blatant, and I thought I was gonna have a lot of fun rewatching it, but it just felt so repetitive with a lot of the violence. And guys, you know me, I love disturbing. Like that's what I love. I love seeing how artistically, which is probably pretty reachy to say, but artistically, like people represent certain aspects of the darkest parts of humanity. And I felt like this was just like, okay, you've seen 10 minutes of it, you've seen the last 45 minutes. Basically it's all the same. So did I say does it annoy you?
No, I said it annoys me. I think there definitely could be a case made though, like for it being like offensive or at least just infuriating that somebody was hurt on this set due to very clear negligence for sure.
Yeah, twisty and turny. That's my saying. Key, thank you so much. Hard to know if she escaped or if she's just imagining an escape outside of reality. It is kind of left up. Yeah, I think so. I just think with the rest of the film, it just seems too simple because they were trying so hard to kind of flick it around. So
yeah.
Yes.
We've been blessed.
What was that?
I said we've been blessed. Behind you.
Oh yeah. She's a menace. Be careful because I'm telling you guys, be careful. She jumped up on my desk yesterday, so just calm down, okay? I can't say her name online.
She's like, what?
Exactly.
What?
What are you doing? Yeah, I know, the bum in the face. Come on, guys. Okay, how are we going? The poll.
The boy.
Okay. 84% said no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Shall we jump into now? That's better. Look at that. Picture perfect.
It's like, I
Aw.
want to be included too. I have opinions. You didn't ask me if it offended me.
She named Sissy after the movie. Her name's Sissy after a Texas Chainsaw Massacre character. Everyone thinks that she's called Sissy for different reasons. I'm like, no, she's named after. It's now a dead game,
funny.
but she's named after a character from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, who's like, yeah, she's a villain, but she's my favorite. But we just call her Smoochie. That's what I normally call my cat. Anyway. Okay, so
Right.
I'll turn the ticker off. So that's
The
throwing
boy.
us all off balance. Okay. Incident in Ghostland. No.
The boy.
Shit, sorry. Threw me. I've thrown myself.
All right. So the boy came out in 2016, directed by William Brent Bell. I'm also going to go quickly over this one too, but a young American woman named Greta takes a job as a nanny for an 8-year-old boy in a remote English village. To her surprise, Greta learns that the child of her new employers is a life-size doll. They care for the doll as if it were human, which helps the couple to cope with the death of their own son 20 years earlier. When Greta violates a list of strict rules, a series of disturbing and inexplicable events lead her to believe that the doll is alive. Which is just like her testing a lot of things and then like going through it mentally, like, oh my God, this is like a ghost or something. And then we find out in a twist that the doll's not alive. There's just a man living in the walls.
Frogging it up. Yeah. Love it. I don't know. There's just something about movies where people live in the walls where I just love that shit. And it's so hard. Do not put any spoilers for any other movies because that's one of the coolest twists in films. I know that this film is so meh, but it's so satisfying in a weird way. I don't know.
That's so funny.
It is. I love it.
All right, where do we?
Yeah, where do you want to start?
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
where do we begin?
you know what? I'll just start with my one because it kind of like sets up why he's in the wall.
For sure.
we can
why is he in that wall?
We can talk about why he's in the wall. It's oh my God. The Boy is what? Oh, did you watch The Boy 2 then, Ian? Oh my God. The Boy 2, by the way, changes the whole story.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's so sad. So I think a lot of this film and what they don't touch on and they probably should have lent into more is about the elite doing what they want to do and getting away with it. Because his parents, their house is insane. So during the film, you realize that a girl was found murdered in the woods when Brahms, the doll, was young, and obviously their son who has died. He's not. I'm already confusing everybody. So their son was a culprit. She went missing. She was found in the woods, and then all of a sudden their house burnt down. And so what they've done is they have tried to hide Brahms by killing him off in a fire and then rebuilding, or I don't even know how that works. And then if they were in the same house, because that house is old that they're in.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that worked. I could be wrong. Someone correct me. And then they just made it so he lives in the walls so that he doesn't have to come out and no one knows he's alive because he killed a girl. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Yeah. They still live in luxury. They're still able to rebuild and live in a literal mansion, and they hide him in the walls. I guess when they're home, I'm sure he's out wandering around, but he has a whole room and everything in there. Yeah. So I don't know how they prepped him for it. It's so weird to think about that. We should have got a prequel to how they prepped him to.
Yeah.
Like, just so you know, you put your mask on, you live in the walls.
Or was that his idea? I don't know.
I don't know. We don't know. Well, this is I guess what it turns into, because they hire someone to deliver food. And then they pay the woman to come and babysit, and they're buying her because they give her money to be there, and then they end themselves, but they send a note to Bram saying this girl is yours now.
Yeah.
So they've bought her as companionship. It's literally like human trafficking. They've bought her as companionship, taken her into the house under false pretenses so that their son can have her. And at the end, they take their lives because it's too much for them.
Right.
What they've done, because in their letter it reads, "Our dearest son, words cannot describe our heartbreak as we leave you now. We will not be back. We simply cannot bear to live with what we have allowed you to become. The girl is yours now. She is yours to love and care for. May God forgive us all. Love always, Mummy and Daddy." So obviously they are taking some responsibility, maybe but they're piecing out and they're going,
not really, yeah.
Now it's for you guys to sort out. Like, we have literally raised this monster, and now it's for you to. Now he can wreak havoc on the town, and we're leaving. So it's really the elite in this situation. They get away with murder. They hide a felon, and then they're able to just peace out and buy him a companion. So I think that they should have lent more into that, because the parents are the true villains of this story.
They are.
And even when the guy who does the delivery, is his name Malcolm? He talks about this when he talked to the father at one point and asked him what Bram's was like, and he said odd and was very strange about it. So it sounds like there was always, obviously he killed the girl, so there was obviously something going on with this kid psychologically, and they never got him help. With all the money, you think that would be, you know what I mean? Like, you think that they could have done something with it, but unfortunately, and I mean, it was their own undoing as well, because they end up living with him in this house, and obviously it doesn't turn out very well for them as well. He's probably a bit demanding. Thank you so much, Grumpy. The boy had potential, but the twist completely I liked the twist. My mind instantly went back through everything that happened. I could not. I mean, I'll give it to you. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Your name really does go with this. I love it. And it's a very good opinion, and I totally get it. I liked that. I love when films seem supernatural and then the twist is it's not.
Yeah.
I think it's really fun, but it doesn't always make sense, like with the plot holes, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and like you were talking about, like, a lot of it doesn't make sense, because it's like, how did we get to the point where he's living in the walls and they have like all these rules with them interacting with the doll and treating the doll a certain way, and what he's just like watching to like, how did we get to this point? Like,
and how did they say, like, no, you've got to take the doll seriously if they know that there's a boy in the wall? Like,
right.
I love when she first meets the doll and she like laughs and they're like, this is serious. But is it? Because there's a guy in the wall.
Right. You know that there's a guy in the wall.
Yeah. How long has he been in there? They said that he's the same age as Malcolm, because they make a point to say that at one point. They're like, how long ago did this happen? So I guess like 20 years maybe he'd been in the walls.
It's almost like they're conducting an experiment on this poor woman. Like you said, like trafficking for sure, but they're like, okay, so we're gonna have a nanny come in, and we're essentially just gonna like trick her, I guess. You know, we're gonna give her all this money to stay here, and like we're gonna fuck off, and and we're never coming back.
Yeah. I guess. Should I get into the Greta final girl, and then that goes into your kind of abusive partner stuff?
Yeah.
Or did you want to do the other way? Yeah. Okay. So if we're going to reach, again, remember guys, I like this film. This is me reaching. Okay. I like this film. But I do think they miss a massive opportunity to make the film more about the greed of the parents by shifting the narrative into why Greta, the main character, is there. And when I was looking at from a lens of does this offend you, this kind of changed. It sucks the fun out of it, to be honest, out of this film. Because she is, the reason they give that she is there is because she's trying to get away from her abusive ex. And they make it about less about like the money. She needs money, but it make it less about that and more about her trying to escape a situation.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of ruins the idea of greed in the story, which I think it should be about, because the elite get away with everything, but someone who doesn't have everything goes into the situation. And if she actually had to rely on that money, it would have been such a good mirrored opportunity, like in the writing, that she kept sticking through weird situations when she knows something is off and not listening to her intuition because she needed the money.
Yeah.
Showing like the two sides of the coin almost. But also, I think what they did to her as a character because of that, with the reasoning she's there, kind of screws with the dynamics of all of the characters. Because instead they set her up as being almost a possession because Brams wants her, but then also her ex who comes into the situation, he comes to the house. And so it becomes like this back and forth between who gets to have her. And then she becomes the possession. And instead of it being like a kick-ass kind of like final girl, which she does have a moment where she goes back for Malcolm, who gets knocked out, and she goes to save him. Instead of it being like a kick-ass situation, it turns into like these two men fighting over her, and her also having to act a certain way to please both of them. She has to play by the rules of Bram's rules, you know, like literally from the written out chart. And she also, with her abusive ex, when he comes, she has to tell him like everything's okay. She has to try and keep herself safe and talk to him in a certain way. So that becomes a whole nother thing where she's trying to please him, and she says she has a plan, but she's kind of lying to him at the same time. So she can never really truly be herself. So we're seeing her like, just struggle in between the two. And I just don't think that the story should have been about that. And Malcolm, the delivery boy, is posed as like her only true or like the right soulmate for her or whatever, because he's the only non-toxic person in the entire film, other than when she's talking to her sister on the phone. And so I just felt like that weakened the character and the whole idea of the film, if they wanted to go deeper, which obviously they didn't. So that's totally fine. But I always think the abusive ex is just like a cheap tactic, unless it's done with fully like a reason and, I guess more context to the situation. And yes, that's my soapbox.
No, you definitely nailed it. Like exactly what I had about her escaping all the way to the UK, you know, to get away from this abusive. That's like her whole reason.
And then he just jumps on a plane and comes and finds her.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like really
so easy.
Scary too, because doesn't he like get it out of like her nephew or something? Like a kid? Yeah.
How does the kid have the address? That's so weird.
Well, we don't have that. Like, we don't know how old this kid. Like, we could be saying kid. This kid could be like an 11. You know. So kids. That's like one of the first things. Like I got taught. Like, what's like my mom's like, what's our phone number? What's our address? So you know. Like,
but the kid's giving the address of where it is in the UK.
True. Yeah.
I was like, I wouldn't even know. Like, that's so crazy. Anyway, there's only 3 types of men. A doll, a delivery boy.
God, this nephew could be 37.
Wait, when did someone say that? Oh my gosh.
This nephew could be 37.
It could be. We don't know. Maybe he's toxic too.
I don't know why that's just so funny.
We don't know. The contents, like the context of the situation for both films. There's so much missing.
I don't know why that was so funny. Great going.
He could live in the walls too. You don't know.
Everyone could be living in the goddamn
wall dweller.
Walls. Jesus Christ. So anyways, abusive ex. But yeah, it's all like you nailed it on the head though. But it's all about like control of Greta from all angles. And then like the one guy again who's supposed to be like the good guy, she's got to like prove her mental sanity too also, when she thinks that like she's doing the like hide and seek thing or whatever. She's got to like prove that she's not crazy, and then everyone like looks at her like she's crazy with the doll thing, like where it almost seems like another form of abuse, like from Brahms, right? Like because he like with the idea that he's watching all of this because they're like I'm assuming he set the rules or something.
Yeah,
Because it seems like maybe he's like controlling his parents a little bit. That's kind of how I read it.
Yeah, it must be
a little bit. That he sets the rules. That would maybe kind of explain why he wears the doll face also. So it's like, it's making the very clear connection between the two. So it almost feels like a humiliation thing or something that he's making Greta do this thing or making his parents do this thing. And then they have to interact with people that like, oh, they're treating this doll like it's a real person. That's weird, and they're looking at them like they're crazy. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, the whole thing is confusing, and again, I want a prequel, not a sequel. I like how
I need answers. There's so many questions.
The boy. What if it is another person who's living in the walls and it's like it could have been connected somehow? That's how he had the address. What if they said, "What nephew?" You got the address from your nephew.
The nephew's living in the walls of his sister's house and then overheard.
Yeah, exactly. Then answered the door when the abusive ex came. Gave the address and said, "Hey, that's my boyfriend." Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
So dumb. Did you want to get into the doll imagery?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of already touched on a little bit of it because this was kind of like my little like both movies thing, so I definitely touched on it for Ghostland. But somebody did mention, I think in the chat earlier, like why is he wearing the mask? Like why is he wearing like the doll face also? I was just like digging into the doll imagery because that was like our connector with these. It's like the dolls, the imagery of dolls. Which is, again, kind of like that representation of a loss of innocence or childhood innocence just in general. So like you were talking about with him committing this, like as a child, committing a like horrific act of violence and the parents covering it up and not getting him help. So he's like perpetually like stuck in this kind of state of being, like hence the mask. And I think just holding his parents hostage in order to like care for him and cover for him as they did in the past.
Yeah,
it's to make a connection.
Yeah, it's also interesting because you don't really see young boys as the dolls often.
Right.
So like having a young boy doll is really interesting. I just had a thought. What if do we ever see his face in this film? What if
I don't think so.
What if his parents burnt down his house to try and kill him?
Oh.
And then he just crawled into the walls and they didn't know. And then he like, I mean, they knew he was there, obviously at the end, they write in the letter. But what if he was like, what if they tried because they were like, he's odd and that like maybe he has like burnt and that's why he's wearing the mask. And maybe he won't let them go, kind of thing.
Okay.
And they don't know what to do. And they're more conflicted.
This movie is just irresponsible at this point. There's so much like and they gave us really nothing. Like
but that's what they have to do sometimes for a good twist because you don't really the first time you see it you're never going to guess someone's in the freaking walls,
right? Yeah.
Come on, I don't care, you in the comments, I don't care, you didn't know. You didn't know. So I feel like that's the difference, a huge difference between these two films is one gives you everything in terms of the twist, obviously nothing in terms of like the backstory,
right?
And then the other one is trying to hide as much from you, so you do think it's supernatural, but I don't think that goes down very well. I've seen with horror audiences, shut up, Corey. You did not know. I've seen a lot with horror audiences where they don't like things that portray themselves the other way in terms of advertisement or whatever. If they're going to a horror movie and they think it's supernatural, they don't like when it's not. I've seen all those comments. People don't like that. I like that. I like being tricked. I like not being able to guess, Yeah, I could sense who was in the walls. Yeah, I feel like again it was just the doll imagery where they're trying to make it creepy. I think the creepiest part of the film was his voice. He has like a young boy's voice, and it's really spooky. I think that's really scary because then you just wonder how, what's happened to him because he didn't get help at a young age. This all could have been avoided if they just turned their son in. Like it really could have.
He might be like help.
Yeah, and he could have gone like sent to a facility and actually got psychiatric treatment, and he could be out and like literally a functioning member of society if he's underage when it happens. Like that's crazy. Anyway.
Totally
it's not up to us to fix these fictional characters' lives.
We're not responsible for fixing fictional men.
Yeah.
Not responsible.
I mean, yeah. Yes. That's funny. Okay. All right. I guess. Wait, did you have any other one on this? No, that's it.
Good. Yeah.
We went easy on this one.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of speculation. They don't give us a lot.
Yeah. I think both films I felt were so obvious when you know whatever it is.
Yes.
But then there's really not much else to it. It wasn't like they weren't, as I said, as you guys like when I say twisty turny. They weren't to a degree that there was a twist in it, but there wasn't so much substance in it, I guess is what I'm saying, with the backstory, and there's so much left up to interpretation. But that's how they try and put in the twisty turnies. They try and leave it open. Okay. Vicky, did this offend you?
No. Although I was quite appalled by the amount of people on Letterboxd thirsting after Brahms, like when he comes out of the wall. Y'all are like not okay.
That's funny. I'm like,
no.
That's so funny. I watched it with a couple people on my Discord, and people were saying, how is he in such good shape and from living in the walls this whole time? But like his skin must be so good, no sunlight. Like although I think you need a little bit.
Yeah, you need vitamin D, guys.
Yeah. I'm redhead. We produce our own. But yeah, I could probably live in the walls. Actually quite easily, I think. Watch out, guys. Coming to a wall near you.
Oh no.
And yeah, I mean,
no, it doesn't affect me.
I was he probably has a really good diet because he's eating like this from this luxury family. He's the chef and they doing the deliveries. He's, you know what I mean? Like he's probably living it up in there. I don't think that they have cable TV or anything. His mind's actually, I was going to say his mind's quite fresh, but definitely not.
I don't think that's true.
Lots of mindfulness, lots of meditation.
I don't think he's doing any of those things.
Lots of crawling around the walls.
Lots of crawling on the walls. And talking in a baby voice.
Yeah. Well, that's when he screams at one point, and I'm like, how is he screaming? Because his vocal cords probably don't get a workout. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah. Yeah, weird. Yeah, so not offensive to you?
No, not offensive.
I like this one. I think it's fun and silly. Some of the films some films I give like 6 out of 10 that I just think they're so fun and silly and rewatchable just to kind of get that kick out of. But oh my god, who were the 20% who said that it was offensive? What? To what? To dolls? To walls? All that a boy needs is his walls and his dolls. All right, you tell me.
Hey, I
don't know how you guys operate. Sure.
Jesus.
Wall yoga. Oh my god.
He was not doing any of that kind of stuff. He was not mentally okay.
Okay, no comment. Thank you for your blood sacrifice. Oh my god. So guys, we don't take it too seriously here.
No,
oh my god, that's
don't.
not the vibe for me. Oh my gosh. I just saw Jess's comment about Jason. Therapy didn't Jason. True. But we need to still need to try,
Yeah.
That's everyone's right to try. Especially if they can afford it. That's what I don't get. Therapy's freaking expensive.
And
if
they
your family
absolutely could afford it.
Yes. And it would have been better for them. Everyone wins.
Yeah.
So that's why I find them to be the true villains, and it's all
Yeah.
about. It would have been so much better. Sorry, I know we've just gone through this all, but it would have been so much better if Greta was there for the money, because it would have just been such a better idea about greed and how their choices led to these consequences, instead of like, oh, there's a doll man in the wall. We can still have all that. I just wanted it to mean something.
Yeah.
But, that's like the Mike Flanagan version. Frams takes off the mask and does a flanelog. We're all just confetti. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I know. I need to stop. Okay. Thank you. Thank you guys all so much. Did you have anything else, Vicky?
Mm-mm.
No.
Sorry. Everyone's really funny in the comments today.
They are. Oh my god. They are. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you to everyone who participated in the comments who was semi-normal. I wouldn't say anyone here is normal, including me. But thank you for keeping the vibes good. I do appreciate it. I appreciate you guys all. Thank you for your generosity. And I hope you guys are having a great weekend. Start of your weekend is Saturday here. So, hope you guys are having a great weekend. Hope you get to go see a movie that you enjoy. Vicky has just posted a video on the worst horror boyfriends.
The worst horror boyfriends.
Yeah, so go check that out.
Really ranty, lots of soapboxes.
Okay, yeah. So if you want to talk more about boys in the wall, boys that should be in walls.
Boys that should be in walls.
Oh, definitely go check that out. Again, her links are below. Let me double check I've done that. I did. Yes, it is. It is. Her links are below. Again, if you're looking for book talk, also Vicky is the person that you wanna go check out. And I have been 28'd out this week.
28'd out.
Yeah, if you want to, I just dubbed it the 28 series. If you want to, if you want to get a recap of 28 days later or 28 weeks later before seeing the new film, I have done that for you guys. It is only 14 minutes long, and it runs you through everything that happens in both films. Nice. So if you don't have time for both of them before seeing the new one, definitely check it out. I think it's good just to get your head back in the headspace of this outbreak. Sure. Don't call it a zombie film. People get very mad if you call it a zombie film. Just heads up. Heads up. And I also did a review on the new film, which it's been a very surprising result. Lots of interesting comments over there, so go check it out. And you guys can check us out. We're both also stream on Twitch. Yeah. For that one person who likes it. We both stream on Twitch. About it? Yeah. Vicky does a lot of really cute indie spooky games. And I do a lot of shit talking. If you like that vibe, we do a lot of fun things. And we do a lot of tier rankings, horror trivia games, all that good stuff. So if you want to come check that out, you're welcome to. Anyone is welcome. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. Thanks, guys. Oh, thank you again, Grumpy Gwen. I didn't see that last one. Thank you guys Grumpy. So much. You're so generous. Thank you. And stay tuned for the next announcement of Does This Offend You? It will be over on Vicky's channel for next month. Did I miss anything?
No. Nailed it.
Good. We got it. Okay, let's wave until we disappear from your screens. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. Bye. I was really holding it there for a second.